it for me. I didn't even explore outside of it until I got older. But it's kind of like you're in this exclusive club. You know, of course nobody understands us. We're in the heavy metal, you know, or whatever. But, you know, I understand it. It probably doesn't matter what genre. It's a form of escaping from the world and getting to your own place. Yes. On that note, what are your favorite musicians or CDs or?
Well, classical composers, number one.
Dream Theater.
Yes.
That big John Petrucci fan.
Yep. Opeth, the Dream Theater, Nevermore, Evanescence, Nightwish, Tool.
Grew up on Tool.
Yeah. The better question would be, who's not our influence?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it goes all the way back to Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, Metallica. Right. Metallica was a huge influence for me, and that really kind of started all of this. Was
you brought it up, so I'll ask: Metallica or Megadeth?
Oh, you know,
answer that.
There is
back then, Metallica. Nowadays, I'm really digging the new Mustaine stuff. It's wow.
Yeah.
Especially with Chris Broderick in the band. I'm sold with Chris Broderick in the band.
I did some checking on him. Of course, he's got some YouTube stuff where he's playing classical guitar. And
incredible guitarist.
I have a DVD of them, and I believe it's called That One Night. And on the DVD, it's this guy. It just looked like he's riding a bicycle with one hand on the handlebars and one foot on the pedal, and he's still going wide open. You know, it's nothing to it for him.
Absolutely, yeah. He's amazing.
Practice makes perfect, eh?
Oh yeah.
Your website describes your lyrical style as hauntingly beautiful vocals, emphasizing divinity during the often chaotic, technical, proficient compositions. Do you think, does your audience reaffirm that?
Yeah, I think everybody's kind of hypnotized by her vocals, you know, and in the meantime, I'm back there doing my thing, you know, whatever I'm doing.
When there's something real chaotic in the song, and then maybe she's not going to the heavy side of vocals and doing something different, it makes you stand out.
Exactly,
That's the thing.
does. There's not a lot of people doing that. Sometimes, most of the time, you're hearing hard bands being hard all the time, and it's great. I love that kind of music, but it's kind of an overload of energy sometimes, and I think it's good to have a good balance. Like bands like Opeth are doing it really well, you know, keeping that good blend, and that's kind of what we try to do, is keep a good blend, you know.
Yeah. There's a CCR song where he says, have you ever seen the sun shining on a cloudy day, or the rain?
Exactly.
You know, it's kind of like, have you ever been standing outside and it's raining over here and it's not? Just kind of that's what I thought of as you were talking about there. Here's the storm, but here's the calm. And it's kind of a blending, you know.
Very good depiction.
Do you write your own lyrics?
Oh, yeah.
Are you the chief songwriter?
She's the main songwriter.
The lyric writer?
The main lyric writer.
He helps sometimes. He gives me ideas.
You know, it kind of, most of the time it kind of comes out of just jamming around, playing, and she's humming something, or she's kind of coming up with a tune, and then the words just kind of make sense from there. And then we sort of make sense of what the music is doing. Instead of just having a concept and trying to match the music to it, we're almost feeling what the music is telling us.
So either begins with a riff, or possibly a melody,
or piano,
and then you just begin to spin off that.
Exactly. We try to feel the whole mood. It's like,
there's
what is this song about?
Where, you know, I've written the lyrics and written music around it. So, I mean, it happens both ways.
It does happen both ways, but the majority of the time, I think
the majority of the time, it's definitely the music comes first, and then the words just, they come to me whenever. Yeah,
it's almost like we want to know what the song's about ourselves while we're writing it.
And it's funny you say that, because, you know, recently I've been having dreams, like actual dreams when I'm asleep, and I'm dreaming music and lyrics. And I'll wake up, and I'll have to go to the piano, and I'm like, okay, I gotta figure this out, because it was so pretty. So, yeah, I mean, it's
pretty neat.
There's a lot of subconscious, you know, writing, I believe.
Right. I think probably when you get to rest in your mind, I mean, a lot of times they say you'll dream about what you're thinking about before you go to bed.
And you know we're thinking about music, so.
Yeah, and you can hear it. If you play music enough, you can put together songs in your head like that. Do you ever change your lyrics live?
Not on purpose. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes you sometimes I'll make a mistake and I'll try to pretend like I didn't.
Right.
But
Of course.
sometimes I'm sure I've sang a few things.
Maybe switched a verse.
Well, no, not even that. Like sometimes if you feel something differently, like with the energy, sometimes I'll say something maybe a couple words different.
Right. Well,
But
that
for the
could
most
lead
part-
to, do you ever maybe phrase something differently
Oh,
because of your mood?
yes, yes,
Yeah, I've
absolutely.
noticed that.
And it's strictly based off the energy that I'm getting.
Right.
You know, because sometimes I might say something softer, but if the crowd's just right there in my face, I'm gonna push it right back at them. You
Right.
know. So.
The same way with the guitar solo, you're almost feeding off the energy, you're riding the wave of energy the whole
Right.
time. Yeah.
You don't actually play it the same solo all the time.
Yeah, I mean the solos are written. The solos are written note for note, but yeah, a lot of times they're different live.
Okay.
I can tell. I can always tell
Oh,
when
yeah.
I can always tell when he's really, really feeling a solo because.
Sometimes they end up a little longer.
Extended solo.
Yes, and I'll look back and I'll be like, oh, he's so into this. I can tell. So yeah, I don't know. I guess we just know each other so well.
Yeah. We're back with Cassie Thaxton and Drew Collum of Eternal Mortality. We were talking about lyrics. Where do you usually gather the songwriting inspiration?
Everything,
Real life.
everything. That's all I can say.
Well, we covered like your process of writing. How often and how long do you practice? And I guess that's
by
as a
myself.
band.
As a band, usually practices generally go about 3 to 4 hours. Practice to us is more like rehearsal. We practice on our own. To me, by myself, I practice, I try to practice around 4 hours a day myself, just practicing technique, and some of that's writing, some of it's just warm up, some of it's new things, experimental things. But I know Cassie has her own routine.
A lot too. Every day, vocally and with piano. So I also take lessons. So on top of that, I'm learning. I learned to read sheet music, so I'm getting better at that, and I'm diving further into the music theory. So my hands are kind of full right now with all that on top of writing.
You said you were taking lessons. Did you take any vocal lessons? Did you do that in school?
No, I never took lessons, which I probably should have. But I don't know, I just never did.
I think everybody can benefit from another perspective.
Yes, and that's the thing. Like, don't be afraid if you're passionate about something. Don't be too arrogant to not seek, a professional.
Even if you really are the best in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
you can
now,
always. Go ahead. Sorry.
when I was growing up, imagine you could get a DVD of a professional guitarist or drummer and get lessons from them. That's unheard of. But now, through the internet, and it's all over the place. These musicians, they make the DVDs and stuff, and you can really get professional training.
Oh, and it lets you know where you stand too. And believe me, sometimes you want to be a lot further than you are, and I think that kind of keeps us all pushing. And it makes the quality of what we're doing a lot better too.
It is raising the quality.
It is. It's
I would
raising the bar.
still say to go see someone as well if you can,
Right.
because it has just really made me excel as a musician.
Yeah.
Being able to have someone personally critique my mistakes and say this is what you need to work on.
Yeah, and I've seen a big improvement in your playing too. And you were great before, but now you're solid, and you have this deeper knowledge. And I think
that's the
everybody
thing. You
can
learn
benefit.
that knowledge, and it's just and the techniques that you gain from having someone there that knows what they're doing. I guess.
Yeah, and that's something I've always been into is music theory and technique and everything. And like you said, I'm all over the internet. I'm gathering as much knowledge as I can to improve my skills. But I still think I could benefit from a personal one-on-one with someone. I think it's a good.
With guitars, I've always viewed it as a toolbox. You know, if you're on stage and you know everybody's like zombie state, more than likely if you hit a harmonic and go crazy on the whammy bar, they're gonna probably get their attention.
Yeah.
So you gotta have the tools of the trade. You know.
Yeah.
When you do practice, you said you did exercise and stuff, new tunes. Do you ever kind of go to hard tunes? Do you ever push to the edge of the...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, I try to really dive in deep with a lot of dream theater, odd time, just in things that are just really difficult to grasp, and it really stretches you out, stretches your limits as a musician. And, just things I never thought I could do,
Right.
I can do, and it's because I pushed myself, and these people inspired me, and I said, I want to be like that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And it would lead me to something else, and I'd say, no, I want to be like that guy, I want to be like that,
Right.
and then I just kind of became me,
Now, that's a lot of guitarists will do that, and then, like, I'm thinking about Tyson Abbasi. He hasn't been playing guitar hardly, not very long, to come as far as he's already at. I mean, he's already on the magazines, becoming the newest guitar hero, and I'm glad because he's got a lot of dynamics, a whole different scope to guitar.
Yeah.
His style is just
like a jazzy sort of metal.
Right. This might be a bold statement, but what Eddie Van Halen did to kill, at the time it was a lot of new wave synthesizers and things. Now it's a little different, because like you got groups like Dream Theater and stuff, but he kind of like brought guitar back. And I think Tyson Abbasi is that guy that we're going towards something else.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of guys doing that now, like Tyson Abbasi. You have Jeff Loomis bring guitar back. You've got people like Andy James, that are just virtuoso
Andy McKee,
type player.
Andy
McKee, completely different style, but man, guitar is back in. It really is.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think people, this is like the era that you got the iPod, you got all this stuff you can go on the internet. You don't necessarily have to buy records now to hear an artist before you buy. And a lot of these groups now, I think, because probably the record company doesn't play a big role in moving the product anymore. You have to tour, and some of these guys have to be in 3 different bands to make a living at it, or to stay able to do what they want to do.